I'm always looking for tips and tools to have more impactful conversations, especially when it comes to giving and receiving feedback. I can't tell you how many clients stumble in this area, avoiding a discussion or getting all judgy, making assumptions, or glossing over a critical issue that needs resolution. Less helpful, more harmful. If you wish to improve your skill in engaging with your fellow humans and driving change, this episode is for you. I have a tool called Situation, Behavior, Impact to share. You get to practice with your own scenario and walk away more empowered personally and professionally. This is The Growth Moment with your coach, Amy Kay. Inspiration, ideas, and incredible insights for you to be more and do more. Get ready to grow today. As I said, so very many clients have a tough time giving and getting feedback. That is true not only in the workplace, but also at home and across relationships. Most of us never got a class or mentoring for this invaluable skill, but it's not just feedback. It's all the human moments that require sharing so things can improve. The times when someone disappoints, frustrates, or hurts us, intentionally or no, and we want to say something. Being able to highlight behaviors from others that block us from reaching a goal. The places where we feel stuck in a repeating negative pattern and need a way forward. And where our ability to give clear, actionable feedback is sorely lacking and we slide into complaining or blaming or saying nothing at all. We can do better. As always, I want you to grow, evolve, improve, individually, but also in your partnerships, teams, groups, communities, and organizations. There are many tools out there. But I was reminded recently from a great colleague about a cool one called SBI. Full name is the Situation, Behavior, Impact Model. The Brilliant Center for Creative Leadership designed it, and I want to share it with you, along with my own Amy Kay spin. So here is how SBI works. You have a problem, some feedback to give, or difficult circumstances, and you want to change. Pull out the SBI. S is for situation. All you have to do is lay it out. Just the facts. When, where, who, but not what yet. No long story or tons of detail. Think of it as context. B is for behavior. Here you describe the specific behaviors observed. No opinions, judgment, or analysis. I is for impact. This is when you get to share the effect that the behavior had on you, others, or the larger picture. Here is an easy example. You want to give feedback to a team member who is a chronic interrupter, and people are getting pretty frustrated. Using the SBI model might sound like this. Hey, in yesterday's brainstorming meeting, situation, you interrupted Sarah several times. Behavior. And she stopped contributing and was quiet the rest of the meeting. Impact. How did that sound to you? Notice this was short, but concrete, factual, not super judgy or making any assumptions about motives. Feedback delivered. But it easily could have sounded like this instead. You always are interrupting people. It's rude and no one wants to work with you. Way more critical and likely to trigger the recipient's defense mode. Not able to take in your message and do something productive with it. Or you could have said nothing. Let the behavior slide, not wanting to make waves or feel uncomfortable with the possible conversation. The interrupter keeps on interrupting, and indeed, people might not want to work with them, and things get worse. Or you say something vague and wishy-washy. Sometimes it feels like you interrupt in meetings. I'm sure you don't mean to, just thought I would mention it. The interrupter can easily brush that off and no behavior change in sight. What is true for you? Do you naturally use an SBI approach? Or are you more likely to come across as critical, or to keep your mouth shut, or to gloss over the issue? How would you like to be? Imagine the kind of change you could inspire if you were SBI fluent. The whole point of giving feedback should be to create the opportunity for growth, to dial up awareness, offer fresh insight, and open up a pathway for something better. When we come back, you get to pick your own scenario and practice with SBI. I also will throw in some more examples. Let the growth commence. Let's find your scenario. You can pick something from your past and go for a redo, or a current problem or issue that you know you need to address but are absolutely avoiding. It could be at work, but also in one of your relationships: partner, spouse, child, parent, sibling, friend. I'm sure you have more than one from which to choose. If you can, select one that matters, where acting on the feedback could be a game changer. If you are having trouble finding your practice example, try using feedback that you have received that was hard to swallow or landed poorly, or where you know someone is upset with you but not speaking up or giving you anything concrete to act on. You can design what they could have said. Pause the audio to ponder. I have one. While I share my example, keep contemplating what yours might be. My husband and I are often less than our best selves in political discussions. He is highly intelligent, logical, and has an arsenal of facts and data in his head. He can also be a bit relentless in making his points. When I'm in a more reactive mode, I've been known to walk out in a huff saying it's impossible to talk with you, or escalate the political disagreement into a relationship mini-crisis. Not helpful. If I'm more centered and thoughtful, I might be able to share, when we were arguing earlier, situation, you were stating your opinions forcefully and giving continual counter-arguments to my thoughts, behavior. I didn't feel like there was room to just have my thoughts and that I had to defend my opinions. It feels like I'm on a debate stage, and I end up not wanting to stay in the conversation. Impact. I actually have said things along those lines, but not quite so clean and clear. What I notice right now is that SBI forces me to slow down, reflect, regulate my emotions, get underneath the hood, and articulate the heart of the matter. It takes self-discipline to not assume motivations, assign blame, or judgment. I easily could say, "You never respect my opinions. It's your way or the highway." Dial up the emotion, frustration, hurt. Instead, I didn't feel like there was room to just have my thoughts. It's a very different vibe. It takes presence to communicate this carefully, especially in the moment. That's why we all might need to take a break in a conversation and come back later. Perfectly legitimate. Let's do yours. If you don't have a situation or time to really work through an exercise, no problem. But keep listening and see what does pop up. No matter what, you are deepening the concepts, and that's valuable. Start with the situation. Write it down or say it out loud. Just the context. When, who, where, nothing else. Don't jump ahead into what happened or the effect. Feel free to pause the audio to nail this first step. Okay, time for behavior. Go ahead and describe what happened. You might need to take several passes in order to jot down the behavior without piling up judgment or impact. It's only the facts about the behavior, kind of like an accurate news story. Read it out loud. See if you can simplify the description. Watch out for words like always and never. Stay situation specific. Now you get to the impact. What was the effect on you, or others as the case may be, of that behavior? How did you or others feel? What reactions happened? Causes and consequences. Try to use I or we statements instead of you. For example, I felt frustrated instead of you made me feel frustrated. I start to feel like I'm not trusted to lead my team instead of you don't trust me to lead my team. Watch out for those assumptions. Again, pause the audio to get to the bottom line impact of your scenario. Write it all down. Okay, when you're ready, read the whole piece. S, then B, then I. How does it come across? How would you react if someone said this to you? Open or closed? Can you improve it? And if you didn't find a scenario yet, keep the tool handy for the next opportunity, which will come soon enough. If crafting thoughtful feedback is new for you, know that it's okay to be messy on your way to more masterful. In the beginning, it can feel awkward, too scripted, or even inauthentic. It takes practice to find your own natural way. When we come back, I want to do my Amy K spin. I think there's a key missing step: asking for the change you want to see. Feedback without action is half-hearted. I love this model, but it definitely doesn't go far enough for me. You SBI'd, but so what? Do we just hope someone finds their way to change eventually? I want more. My bias is towards action, so I'm adding a big A at the end. A is for ask. You delivered the feedback, but what is your specific request? For our corporate team example, it might sound like, are you willing to work on letting people finish their thoughts before adding yours and increasing everyone's participation in brainstorming? Positive, collaborative, very both and. And then, boom, you are talking and potentially partnering on solutions, not just complaints or criticism. You also can deepen the dialogue into the other person's intent, getting insight into their actions and motivations instead of your own assumptions. This is where you dial up your curiosity, inviting even more growth. I'm definitely not the first person to notice that something feels missing. The folks behind SBI added an extra step, SBII. They formally added an inquiry around intent, not to solve the issue, just to increase understanding. They suggest questions like, what were you hoping would happen with that behavior? Or tell me what was going on for you. And there is already an SBIA used in medical education with A for action. They rightly point out that feedback isn't complete if the learner doesn't know what they can do differently the next time. However, that model tends to be more instructional, not as collaborative. I definitely lean towards the coaching vibe with the ask. What behavior can we create together that would be even better? Maybe the supercharged version is SBIIA. Situation, behavior, impact, intention, ask. Bottom line, you get to use any letter combo you wish. For my husband, my ask might be, when we dive into politics, I would love to lean into discussion mode instead of debate, and agree that I get to have my thoughts and opinions, and it's not your job to change them or persuade me. Are you up for that? Then he gets to say yes, no, or counteroffer. It's the start of real dialogue. What about you? What ask would you add to your SBI? Go ahead and pause right now to see what you come up with. This is the empowering part. Ask for what you really want, write it down, and add in that extra I for intention if you wish. A few more important notes. You now have SBIA in your growth toolkit. Keep it handy. I will too. I just used it this week for couples coaching as well as with one of my corporate clients. Extremely powerful. I like having a process and steps to work through, something to lean on when things feel complicated or fractious. I most likely will do a workshop now so we all can practice. Know that this isn't a magic wand, but more of a door opener to better conversation and collaboration. However, to create long-term change, we often need more investigation into motivations, triggers, all the individual human psychology. When there are deep underlying issues that need to be addressed, SBIA can help pave the way. Also, remember that getting permission to give someone feedback is smart. Just are you open to some feedback? Is this a good time or should we do it later? I absolutely am better when I have a moment to prepare to receive. And you can use SBIA for positive feedback and acknowledgement. Here's one. During dinner, everyone put away their phones. It felt great to laugh and just talk for a change. Can we make that our new normal? See how easy that is? My final tip for absolute transformation is to pull it out when someone is giving you feedback. Hey, can we slow down for a moment? When was this? Then, what exactly did I say or do? Got it. And what was the impact? Finally, what would you like me to do differently? Help them pull it apart. Lower the potential emotional load. Be curious and sincerely engage. Imagine you have the presence of mind to actually use such a tool and you're really good at it. What might unfold in your world? SBIA integrates so many Amy Kay fundamentals: truth, clarity, compassionate accountability, connection, agency, action, and depth. It's not a communication tool, it's a growth tool. Now go forward, start practicing. What conversation have you been avoiding? What truth deserves to be spoken? Who do you need feedback from? And where are you leaving appreciation unsaid? Don't stop at impact. Build the bridge to what happens next. And please share your learning journey. Send me questions, insight, and progress. Make SBIA your very own. As always, get your growth moment, whether it's one-on-one private coaching or joining one of my coaching groups or workshops. Find all the episodes on thegrowthmoment.com and follow on your favorite podcast app or on my YouTube channel. Now get out there and grow today.